Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. It's me, John Park, and it is time for John Park's Workshop. Thank you so much for joining me. We have people in our chats. Thank you for stopping by, and if you are over on YouTube, hello, and the chat right there works just fine. Hello to Tony Stark Fan and Bergraf Abdelhagen. Howdy. I can show it even. Look, there's the YouTube chat, so go check that out if you're on YouTube. If you are somewhere else and wondering where the chat is, we've probably got you covered over here on Discord. So head to the Adafruit Discord. You can go right to adafruit.it/Discord, and then you will get an instant invite to this right here, which is our Discord server, and you will look for that in particular, the live broadcast chat channel. Hello to Andy Calloway and VP Tech Ops, Paul Cutler, Thin Man, hello, 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 and anyone else who joins us along the way. Thanks for stopping by. So, got a show for you here. Oh, someone just told me that we've got rustling. Let me mute that mic. Thank you. Rustling on the mic. I've been moving some things around in the workshop, and I think something that was blocking direct wind on this mic over here got moved. So, in fact, you may notice there's no more wall back there, no more LCD wall. I took down the LCD wall, and I'm starting to build a CRT wall back there. We'll talk about that a little bit. But among other things, some wind stopping stopped. So let me know if that's better there. It should be better now. I can move this mic a little bit too. So what have we got in store for you today on the show? I'm noticing I've rotated this camera a little. Hold on. I'm just gonna, hold on. There we go. Maybe that's more to our liking. Sure. So what I've got a coupon code for you to save some money over in the shop. I have a recap of the product pick of the week from Tuesday. I've got a CircuitPython Parsec for you. Thank you in the chat. Paul said that fixed it, all better. Okay, so I'll have to put a little wind blocker for that one. What else have I got? A recap of a Learn guide. I've got a little tool tip. I'll show off a little piece of software that Toddbot wrote. Things are moving. I hear things. And then we are going to dive into a little new project, and I do have a little product recommendation thing, so I don't forget. It has to do with VGA video. Remind me if I forget. So let's start off with a coupon code. If you head over to the Adafruit shop and you want to save some money, no more wall. It's not particularly political or anything. It's just I really did remove the LCD wall. No more wall, and that is no dash more dash wall. That will save you 10% in the Adafruit shop. So head right over there to Adafruit and take a look at some of the new stuff. We've got a products drop down here. There's a view all new products that you can click right there. If you look at that, we have a new little speaker there. Some different sensors, this cool looking light sensor. The terminal block BFFs are out of stock right now. So this will not, we don't rain check stuff. We don't back order stuff. This will work for things that you can throw in your cart right now. that we can ship to you. This does not work on gift certificates, subscriptions, or software, but it's good for physical stuff that we can send you. So take a look at some of anything, really. I don't believe there are any other restrictions on brands or anything like that. And if you load up your cart with a bunch of stuff, get 10% off with no more wall. And I'll also mention, let's see, how do we get that rid of that? I'll also mention that if you throw enough stuff in your cart, you can go to adafruit.com/free, and I believe we have a couple of free enticements right now. This is some of them have run out of stock, but we've got the Adafruit coaster, PCB coaster. I see mine over here. As I was cleaning up stuff, I think I ran into a coaster. No, wrong coaster. I think that one's inside. But the Adafruit PCB coaster with the Adafruit fruit logo on it, and you will get one for free if you order $99 worth of stuff or more. And these stack, so if you also continue ordering, order away, and you get up to $199 or more, you're going to get the free coaster, and in the continental United States, you'll get free UPS ground shipping, and I know every bit helps, and the shipping is always climbing in price these days, it seems, so that might be worthwhile. Let's see, other things. I just noticed over in the chat a question. Is that a microfiche reader I spy back there? It's actually, it sure looks like one. This is a little TV that someone gave me that I got working fairly well. I think I maybe have shown it before once on the show. Just needed a little adjustment here and there. It's not a super bright picture, but it's a gorgeous little design. And yeah, it absolutely looks like some sort of microfiche reader from the microfilm reader from the library. I don't have one of those. I don't need more stuff. I say that to myself a lot. All right. What else? The product pick of the week. That's the show from Tuesday, on which I reveal a new or archive goodie product and give you a little demo of it. We usually mark them 50% off if they are an Adafruit product, and we have those kinds of margins on them. Otherwise, it's usually still a deep discount. And on the product pick this week, we had that CO2 sensor. Here is a little 1-minute recap from the show. Is the STCC4 plus SHT41 CO2 temperature and humidity breakout. I've got a Metro RP2350, and then on top of it I have this nice RGB matrix backpack. Plugged into it over Stemma QT, of course, is my little STCC4 breakout, and I'm reading those, and then every, I believe it's 20 seconds, I check the CO2 levels and then report that here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to breathe some CO2 into this little glass and kind of cover my sensor and watch the fireworks. So we just set that over the glass there. I'm not even sealing it, but I've just basically given it, oh my gosh, it's turned red, red alert, red alert. We're at 8,365 ppm. I'll go ahead and move the glass out of the way. The STCC4 and SHT41 CO2 temperature and humidity breakout with Stemma QT. Yeah, that's what it was. And as I mentioned on the show, it was a happy accident that I couldn't find one of my little TFT shields, and so I grabbed that little RGB matrix shield because everyone seemed to like the look of that. These are cool. Also, as I've been cleaning up the workshop, I have been coming across so many old boards, like 2 more Arduino boards that were just in random bins. Here is a 2009 right there. Don't know what project that was on. Made in Italy, and an Uno with the big chip kind of Uno. So those will go into the proper drawer of Arduino boards. Okay, so Let's see. Dan Coliano mentions that Fruit Jam's out of stock at Adafruit, but DigiKey has a handful in stock if you're looking for one. Thank you for pointing that out. That is a great point. DigiKey is always a good place to look for Adafruit stuff if you either can't, if we don't have it in stock at Adafruit, or if you are already placing a big DigiKey order, you can tack on some Adafruit stuff and get them at a good price. So let's see if you, sometimes we even, Fruit Jam, sometimes we even have a little link for the out of stock stuff to buy it on DigiKey. We don't here, actually I don't know what triggers that, but some things you will see if we have had it out of stock for a while, we'll have a little buy on DigiKey thing. Let's go check it out on DigiKey. So if I go to DigiKey, and I think you can just search Adafruit. You'll get a slew of stuff. They have hundreds and hundreds of Adafruit things there. I'll verify that I'm human. Andy Calloway points out that Lars looks like the master of the monitors back there. Master of the monitors. So if we go over to, oh wow, it does not believe, DigiKey does not believe I'm human. I can't get to DigiKey, that's weird. Oh, you know what? I know Cloud, I think, did I read that Cloudflare had some issues happening? Could be. All right. Well, bad demo. Don't do that. Just stay on Adafruit where we seem to be able to click around. But yes, if you're able to get to DigiKey and you need a Fruit Jam, thanks for pointing that out, Andy. They're available. Okay, next up, let me get situated here for a little CircuitPython Parsec. CircuitPython Parsec. Hey, how about that? I'll do it this time with audio. Thank you so much for pointing that out. All right. Take two. For the CircuitPython Parsec today, I wanted to talk about using the noise library from the community bundle written by Todd Kurt to create a moving road-like pattern. So the noise library gives you simplex or Perlin-like noise that you can use to create something much smoother than randomness. So you can see here in my code what I'm doing. I'm importing time, and then I'm from the noise library importing noise. I'm going to give you the demo first so that we can see what this looks like. So you can see here I'm generating this sort of video game style road moving around, and it has a smooth but alternating, sort of undulating pattern that is not repeating. It's not just a simple function looping over and over. And I'm also using a second instance of noise to change the width of the road here as it moves down. And this kind of reminds me of the Atari, I think it was it Knight Rider game? There was a paddle game, driving game, where you had these little roads moving towards you. So let me stop that for a moment while we talk about what's going on here. So I'm importing the noise library, and then I'm using a couple of step sizes here to adjust kind of how much I move through the one-dimensional noise space per step. If we move very small amounts through the noise space, we'll get very smooth changes, and then we can go all the way to where the changes in sort of zipping across this this one-dimensional noise are so great that it'll almost look like randomness. So values like 0, 0, 5 are going to look very smooth. 0.1 will be bigger steps, but still smooth from step to step as we march through the noise. As we get to 0.5, it's almost random. And the noise space goes from -1 to +1. So the next thing I've got here is a little frame counter so that we can march through an increment. And then in the main loop here, I have advancing the frame, I equals I plus 1, essentially. And then I'm creating these two samples of the noise called N1 and N2. So they're basically the same. N1 equals noise, and then I'm giving it a step size, and then I'm multiplying that by the frame iteration. So 1, 2, 3, 4 as we go. And that's what's marching us or walking across this noise curve. I have different step sizes for them so that we get that variation. Then I'm doing a little conversion here. So I take the position, or I create a position variable, which is what's going to be that how far that left line is from the wall. And that is an integer of a shift of that -1 to 1 range, just going from 0 to 1. And then I'm multiplying that by 20 so that we get up to 40 columns, anywhere from 0 to 40 columns. And then the same thing happens with the width here, which is the space between the backslash and the forward slash. And it just happens to be using a different step size, so it's going to be a little bit different. And then I print them. So this is the print statement here. So we're going to print a number of spaces multiplied by the position, whatever that first value is. Then I throw in a backslash, and I have to escape that with another backslash. Then we have a number of spaces multiplied by that width value. So that's what takes that second right side of the road here over some varying amount. And then I put in that right slash. So put all together, if I run that, you can see we get this really nice, smooth, undulating pattern. If I go ahead and do things like, we'll make them the same, and we'll make them very, very smooth. So let's do 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. And now the rate is very gradually changing because we're moving, walking along that noise curve so slowly. If we speed up this whole sketch right here by changing that time sleep, you can see it's gives us a little better feedback. So if I undo this and go back to equal amounts, let's say 0, 2, so it's going to move more quickly across the curve space. Now you can see the size of the road should stay the same, and it's going to move a little more per step than it was previously. So that's all using the noise function. You can get this from the community bundle. So if you're using circup and CircuitPython, you can just say circup install noise, and it'll run out and find that. And thank you so much to ToddBot for creating that. If you want to check that out, you can, let me go to the browser here. You can go to ToddBot's GitHub, and I'll put a link of that into the chat. And you can oh, that's not it. That's something else. Sorry. You can just simply go to the I confused myself there. You can simply go to the community bundle, and that's available at circuitpython.org. All right. That's something totally different. All right, we'll show that in a minute. Okay, and so that is how you can use the noise library inside of CircuitPython to generate a beautifully, smoothly undulating road. And that is your CircuitPython Parsec. Yeah, sorry about that. And thank you for Todd also for catching that over in the Discord. So there's the, let me bring that up. There's the actual link. So that is CircuitPython noise for simplex noise. So you can go check that out. But you know what? This is probably a good time. Let me turn that air back on because it's getting stuffy in here. But I'm gonna jump right into that sort of tool tip I had, which was this other really cool thing that Todd worked on much more recently, which is this serial plotster. So I'm gonna go back to this demo actually, and let me bring up the other window. So I'm going to stop this one. By the way, just as a reminder, if you are doing serial stuff on microcontrollers, you gotta close down, chop that serial connection before you try to open it on a different device. You can only open a serial connection on one of these USB serial devices on one port at a time, or one application at a time. So I've just essentially chopped off that connection to my REPL in the Z, and now I'm going to open up this new serial plotter. Bring that to the foreground here. And first of all, I will connect to my device. So I'm going to go pick my device from the drop-down and hit connect. And then if I go over to the console here, oh, that's funny. It does not, yeah. So this is very specific about plotting values. So it's not going to show the same sort of general REPL stuff that we had before. But what I'm going to do, we'll see if we can do this as a live demo. I'm going to go ahead and change the output to just be those noise values. Oh, and you're not seeing that yet. That's okay. Let me hide that from me. So what I'm going to do is, let's disconnect. I'll reconnect here for a moment so you can just see it. So instead of these road values, I'm going to just print the position, which will be so those are the numbers of spaces we were getting on the left side there. You can see those. And if I do now close this and switch over to serial plotter, here is the serial plotter. So I'm going to pick my device here, USB modem, and then this number. That's the Metro I'm connected to. And hit connect. If I go look at console, and let me restart the device, hold on. So you can see here, this is that same number I was sending out. This is the number of spaces for that, that position, except now it's showing up on this really great looking plotter. I can go ahead and do a few different things. We can pause. You can scrub. You can adjust your time rate. So if you want to, back to live, if you want to move really quickly, or if you want to have a much slower, oh, resume that. You can see that mapping those. And then if we go over to this console tab inside of Serial Plotster, you can see those are the numbers that I'm printing right now. So another thing I can do, I'm gonna see if I can just move this over a bit. No, okay, let me hide this again, sorry. And if I go into my code and try to print both the left position as well as that width value, which is a different noise, at least as I originally had that set up. So I'm going to save that, and then I'll bring back the serial plotster. So you can see now I'm mapping two numbers, and if we look at the chart for that, now we get two different legends over here, 0 and 1. We can turn them on and off, and we can see them both at the same time. Oh, you're not seeing that? Hold on. Sorry. Where's my throw that on the screen thing? There we go. So console, you can see we're now reading the two numbers, and chart shows either both of them, just one, none, just the other, at whatever rate. Let's go back to 5 seconds. That looks nice. Throw those on. It looks like science is happening. And I think these are doing I'm not sure if those are, I think these are just straight line interpolations, but we have enough, especially in that step size of 0.02, which is the blue line, right? Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I would think that one would look smoother. So Todd will have to tell us. I think these are straight lines. I don't think he's fitting curves to these. So let's see what happens if we change some other values. I guess you can kind of see this. Let's go to 0, 1, and let's go to 0.5. Go back here. Yeah, so you can see that width value is almost just noise. We're almost just random. We're moving through the noise space so quickly that it's pretty noisy. Whereas if I just graph this guy, he's very, there we go. He is very gradual. Tiny amounts at a time. And back to 5 seconds. Oh, I've broken it. What did I do, Todd? Sorry about that. Let's try to disconnect and reconnect. Okay, we have values. Oh, it's back. Maybe I had to refresh it. So this is what I threw in the chat before, and over here is my, I'll go to this view right here. Here's my browser window. Okay, this is at github.com/toddbot/serial-plotster. And thank you for that. Todd's impetus for writing this is a familiar one, which is using the Arduino, since I think Moo is kind of gone now, and Moo was the sort of other convenient way to get a graph for CircuitPython. There are also some web-based charts like this, web-based plotters, but often using the Arduino one, and again having to unlock and relock and disconnect, all kind of a pain. So this is a nice lightweight. I think Todd said this one weighs in at, let me go check. It's just a few megabytes, which is great. Let's go to, oops. Let's go to show in Finder. 9.4 megabytes, so nice and small. If you did this as an Electron app, it would be a couple hundred megabytes. As he mentioned here, this is built with Torai 2, cross-platform desktop serial plotter. If you go to the releases link here, you can get this for Apple Silicon, Mac OS, Windows, x64, MSI, or setup via exe, and Ubuntu. There's an RPM, a deb, and an app image. So very cool. Oh, Andy Calloway asked, how about an XY graph? Yeah, we want some Lissajous action. Also, the other thing, I think, do I have an easy way to show this? I like the icon for this. Maybe if I show, how can I make that happen? If I go back to this view, is there any way to, let's see if I move that app. This is the sort of game capture mode. Oh, just got some in my eye. No, you'll have to download it yourself. I don't think I have a good way to show that app icon. Oh, wait, I do. Let's do this. Let's go to, there it is. Look at that, serial-plotster.app. He's got the our 4 favorite waveforms: a sawtooth, a sine-ish, sort of a noisy sine, a regular sine, and a little square wave there. So thanks for sharing that. That'll come in really handy. And bug Todd with your features, or go add them yourself over on GitHub. All right. Thanks for indulging me on that, and that concludes the ToddBot's contributions to the show, I think. Maybe. Next up, I want to do a little sort of product pick thing. Head over here to the bench. Actually, let me show it first here. Bring up my, where did you go? That is not it. This is it. Let me go back to Adafruit. So we have this little, I mentioned last week, because I was talking about some of the HDMI EDID things that Anne had created for CircuitPython. I was talking about boxes that do a conversion from HDMI signal over to analog video, but those were either S-video or composite. So one of the things that I run into in the world of free panels found on the side of the road is VGA only. So a lot of them are DVI, and you can get these DVI to HDMI adapters, and boom, use an HDMI cable, nothing to worry about. It'll just give you a wide range of resolutions and frequencies. VGA only, however, let me pull this cable. That looks like, uh-oh, trouble, right? What are we going to do if we got HDMI and we want to get to that? Well, also a solved problem and not expensive. And again, this is, for me, this is to do a lot with Fruit Jam, where, yeah, we're using a DVI signal over an HDMI cable, but we're usually at 640, 480, or 720, whatever. But 640, 480 is the one I like, 4:3 ratio. With the Pico 8 project, 640, 480. And if you run a 640, 480 over HDMI and go into one of these very inexpensive, I want to buy one more of them, so don't buy them all. There's only 49 in stock. Very inexpensive HDMI to VGA adapter. That seems to work really well for both this little LCD, and I also tested it on a VGA CRT, like a 19-inch CRT. Looked fantastic. So what does this have to say? It's, gosh, this is small. Let me zoom this text up. Yeah, computer tablet with HDMI out. You want to connect it to a projector. Very often projectors will have a VGA. Monitor or display with VGA, you come to the right place. Nifty adapters. Classic HDMI plug connector at one end, and the other has this DB15 VGA connector. It also has an audio jack on the side, so this won't matter for Fruit Jam because we're not sending audio over the HDMI cable. But if you're using something else and audio is flying through that HDMI cable, this has a little 3.5 millimeter stereo jack on the side, so you can run that into some powered speakers, or if your VGA monitor happens to have an analog input. So the instructions on here, a lot of this is to do with Raspberry Pi and boot config for Raspberry Pi. But when this came out, which was a long time ago, and it was stocked in the store, Xbox 360 was running it well, and you can try that with different devices. But with the Fruit Jam, let me head back over here to the bench. Go to that view right there. So with the Fruit Jam, and I'm going to turn off this fan and turn on that mic. If you want to see this in action, so it's really nice and simple. I'm going to take back of the monitor right there. Give it some power. This is a little Dell, 15-inch? Dell E15 6FPC, something like that. It's so small I can't read it. But this, it's up here. E156 FPC. Yeah. Had a little stand, but I've taken it off of that just so you can see it on the overhead here. And I got to kind of tip it at an angle because, one of the main annoyances with older panels is the viewing angle on them is terrible. But if you're using this as a little capture for little game stuff like I've been using it, it's great. Just look at it straight on. So here we've got VGA, a little short VGA cable going to the monitor. This is the HDMI to VGA adapter. There's a little line out on it. And I've got a Fruit Jam over here. I'm going to plug that in to HDMI. I've got little keyboard over USB, little game controller over USB. Turn on the monitor here. It should say no signal at first. Or maybe not even at all, but I'll go ahead and turn on the Fruit Jam. And let me get this viewing angle fixed a little better. Just gonna stack up a couple more things. You can see it gets brighter as you get straight onto it, but that's kind of close. So here now, again, I can list the contents of my directory, and let's run a, how about the dots demo? Load dots 3D, is that your name? And there you go, nice little, we call it little, right? It's a lot littler than any of the sort of more modern monitors that I have or that I find or get at thrift shops. But yeah, I'd love like a little 12-inch one. That would be great, but this one's pretty nice. And I think if we go to the HUD, you'll see this is a 640, 480, 60 hertz. It says the Optimum is 1024, 768. That's what this thing would really love. But the 640, 480 looks great. Great to me. Let me go to something that's not moving as much. So you can see the text there. Let's do Celeste 2. Yeah, let me see if I can point that right at the monitor. I don't know if I can do, oh, that's auto adjust. I didn't mean that. Let me see if I can do brightness on here. Image settings? I don't think that's it. What is the, oh, wait. No, does this thing not even have brightness? Who knows? I thought it did. It has color settings. Todd said, are there super inadvisable 3D printable VESA mount stands for monitors? Yeah, I had 9 of them. I built myself. That's what my wall was on. You can, my advice is just print it vertically, and it's plenty strong, especially for a little monitor like this. If you print it sort of bed orientation, it just wants to break immediately. The layers just want to delaminate. But yeah, not bad for a cute little monitor. I don't know if I can get it looking better just because of my lighting in here on camera, but yeah, pretty good. Let's zoom in about. That's about, yeah, that's about as bright as it is in the real world. Cute, huh? Wee. So inexpensive solution, and like I say, these are perfect for Fruit Jam because all you need is 640, 480 for almost anything on here. Any of the game emulators will look great on there, and Pico 8, very cool. So let's turn that air back on. Let me go back over here and wrap up a couple last things with this Pico 8 project. And I'll get one prop because I have one last tweak I'm going to make, and I'll give you some updates. So here is, if you go to Learn, I have not even blogged this yet, it just came out, but here is the new Learn guide for Pico 8 Fruit Jam Reality Console. And you've seen plenty about it, and there it was again, me showing it off. So I give you some context here. Like I say, buy Pico 8. It's awesome. You can run it on your Mac, your Linux box, your Windows machine. The runners, as I've learned they're called, like Willy 8 Jam and some others, are free, and they are not based on any Pico 8 code. They're just based on sort of the Pico 8 standards and programming, Lua programming language. So they are not, you're not ripping off Lexilawful by running these. This was my concern at first. So there are a number of these kind of ports out there that are compatibles, but they aren't just direct copying of the code. This one, for example, is a runner. It's simple. It does not have the graphical editor for sprites, game level design, tracker for making music, none of that stuff. It's just really, you can play cartridges and you can do a couple little sort of file management things from the terminal, and you can edit code, but it's largely about playing stuff. The other thing that I have found now is that a lot of cartridges are not compatible with this runner. So the games that it ships with run great. Some that I downloaded from the BBS, Lexilawful BBS, ran fine. Others just wouldn't load. I was using Claude Code to implement a Wi-Fi Splore download feature. It works, but again, the fact that you're often grabbing carts that are just not going to run gets frustrating. So I started to make edits to fix them, and it seemed like an uphill battle. So I'm putting a pause on that. I do, however, have a pull request in for my adding of I2C Wii Chuck controller support, so you can use things like the Wii Classic, SNES Classic, NES Classic. The last thing I'm going to do before I mostly put this to bed is see if I can add support for this type of controller. So these are the ones that we shipped in the Ada box. These are the ones we sell in the store. It's a USB, generic USB SNES-like controller. And I found that this and a number of other controllers out there that I have like a Neo Geo Mini controller USB from a little console they put out, SNK put out a few years ago. Same thing. These will automatically in Celeste run left, and you can't jump. I think you got one button that works, and none of the D stuff seems oriented properly. So whatever it's reading this is, I'm going to see if I can get that supported in there. So I think this was a similar thing that Frank Hodemakers ran into with the Pico NES, was that there's a whole bunch of controllers that are based on some chip that show up funny at first. So I'm going to work on that. Here's the stuff you need: a fruit jam, a little keyboard, a display. You probably already have one, but that's a nice, really little one. Your controllers that will work right out the gate, all the Xbox controllers that are USB. The PS4 controller, I think PS5 controller also, if you wire them, plug in USB to them. And X input mode on a GP2040 project, like my fight stick there, like this little guy here, that works. And then optionally, as I was talking about last week, this converter works great. This HDMI to RCA audio and composite or S-video. So if you're going to a CRT, this is a good option right here. Or like I was just showing, you could use VGA, and I might add that to the info to the guide. Here is info on installing it. Go to the releases, drag and drop, easy. And then here's some info on running it. The SD card is optional, I believe. You can put games on it, P8 cartridges on it, or P8.png cartridges on it, and load them. They'll be in a path called carts. That works really well, but I think it's optional. And then I just show some examples of it in action here. Playing some games. I actually have to take this I have to change this image, unless I might stubbornly get this thing working with Star Captain 32767, because it's awesome and it was written by one of our community members, squid.jpg, and it's a fun shoot 'em up. So I want to see if I can get that one running. But ignore that for now. I need to hide that for now because it's not currently running. And that is it. So that's the guide. Go check that out. And as was said earlier, Andy Calloway said that there's about 4 fruit jams available right now on DigiKey, so go grab one. Okay, back to the chats for a moment, because I saw questions. YouTube, what do you got here? Yep. John, I'm multitasking. Did you really just pronounce moo dead? when we are using it in class here at CalArts. Oh, that's interesting. Can someone else verify for me? I thought it was. If we're talking about the same Moo. Let me go to the browser. Moo CircuitPython Moo editor. Code with Moo. Moo still works, but this project is no longer maintained. Okay, still works. I am so sorry. I should not call it dead. It is just done growing. How about that? My apologies. I should watch what I say. Yes, so you can still use it. It's just not getting updates. So that's what I know about that. Okay, maybe I could still run it, though. I should try. Let's see. Sorry to panic you there. Let's see what else. Hagen said that your local used store is nearly 50% displays. Yeah, so many little TVs and displays at thrift shops. Gordy G says, can the Fruit Jam handle a USB hub? I have not gotten hubs to work on Fruit Jam. So, or I think any of the CircuitPython RP2350 boards, like the Feather, that have a USB host. I believe they need to, I believe they are a host themselves. I think the 2 ports, if I'm not mistaken, on the Fruit Jam are going through a host chip. But I have not gotten keyboards or controllers to work through a hub on either the Pico Nest projects. I don't know if I've tried it on Fruit Jam OS, but something about it confuses it, and that may be an open issue. Yeah, let's check. Why don't we? Let's go to GitHub. Let's go to Adafruit. It's a little bigger. This might be in CircuitPython. Go to Issues and open issue with the word hub. USB serial fails to work through layered hub. With powered hub, RP2040-2350 MCU file systems become read-only when the PC's turned on and off. That's interesting. Host issues using gamepads. That sounds kind of like it. I tried with a different USB hub. Oh, host cable breakout. Right, let's look for the word hub on here. Yeah, so, okay, this is just what's internally. On the Fruit Jam, there's a CH334F USB hub chip, I believe, right? But yeah, if anyone can verify this for me before I start spreading rumors. Yeah, I don't think I've gotten it to work with the hub. Let's see, where did that YouTube chat go? Divolve says, our creative computer program is starting next year. Things might change. Thank you for the heads up about IDE end of life. We'll share with music and tech art and tech and CC. Yeah, it's, you know, I don't know that there's a reason not to use it if it's working, and I don't think there's a great alternative. Some people use Thonny as kind of a friendly IDE for CircuitPython stuff. But yeah, Moo is the friendliest as far as like having direct save to board and serial plotter and serial REPL. Like all that stuff is really nicely, tightly integrated in Moo. So if you can keep using it, keep using it. But yeah, I'll look a little into that. I haven't looked for a while into that kind of nice integrated CircuitPython easy to use solution, but that sure was a nice one. And then over on the Discord, let's see, any questions? Andy Calloway says you're anticipating one day I'll run into Lara Kampf while we're both out collecting junk off the sidewalk. Yeah, it could be. Okay, yeah, Toddbot said that plotter in Moo's quite good. Thani has a plotter too. Mark Z says Moo has matured. Oh, was I getting you mixed up with someone else, Andy? Who said that they were on? Who said they were on DigiKey? Dan Coliano, thank you. Okay. Okay. Dale Teckles 181 says, I like VS Code Platform IO. All right. There are options. Options for everyone, hopefully. Oh, okay. So let's see. The next thing I want to do is talk about this upcoming project. I teased it a little bit on the show and tell last night. Let me go back to this view of the world here. Hide that. Let me bring up Zed. And let me unplug this Metro and plug in instead this little cute little clue. Upside down USB. There you go. Hopefully that'll sort of stay there. So that is going to be hard for you to see. So I'm going to show you the REPL instead. It's also going to keep rotating. So let me bring up the REPL on here. I'm going to make this part really big and very wide so that it fits on one line. And actually, let me make this whole window bigger, and I'm going to put it underneath some things. Sure, like that. So some of it's cut off, but you can see kind of what's going on here. So this is the clue acting as a BLE scanner. It is just looking for advertisements out there. So Bluetooth BLE devices like this Apple AirTag on my keychain, or this heart rate monitor, little runner's heart rate monitor there. They all advertise stuff. And, oh, look, my fruit jam is, what even is that? Do you see, what is that one called? Well, I gotta move some things out of the way. Atari Fruit joystick. Which even thing is that? Oh, I know what that is. Oh, it's not, yeah, okay. This is our 2600 joystick. Right there, I just charged that and turned that on because I was thinking of, I didn't realize I had it turned on right now. That I made years ago. That's a little RP20, NRF 52840 based Bluetooth joystick, so that's showing up. But you can see here, we have 14 devices are just showing up within range of this clue. No external antenna even. And then I'm listing out their name that shows up. Actually, first of all, I'm sorting these by public and random. So public are Bluetooth devices that have a fixed MAC address, and generally it's something that does not worry about being tracked. So like my television set, when I'm inside the house, our Samsung TV shows up on here because it's spewing out some little Bluetooth advertisement saying, hey, we should pair up, probably for like headphones. The FS60B, any clues as to what that is? I don't know what that is. Maybe someone can Google that. I'm sure it's some gizmo in here. This Atari Fruit joystick showing up. And then we have a bunch of things that are called random for the type. And that's because the MAC address either changes every time it gets reset or is powered on, or changes every 15 minutes or something, like these Apple AirTags, because we don't want them to be tracked, right? That's dangerous. So to avoid tracking people, they have sort of rolling MAC addresses that change. However, they do still put out some info that's interesting, like the company that made them. In some cases, here I've got, I think if I turn on these headphones, these are my Bose headphones. If I turn these on, the next time this scans, I think I have it scanning every 20 seconds or something. 12 seconds maybe. We should see a Bose device, and I think that one might be a public one. No, it's a random one, but there you can see LE, JP, Bose QC headphones. That shows up. But the Apple devices, that they show up as company Apple, and then they put out different things, like the reason they're broadcasting is because they are a Find My or Nearby device. So Find My could be like an iPad, so you can find it if you lose it and you have Find My turned on, so it's throwing out. We have iBeacon, we have, which I think is the AirTag. We have the Nearby, which I think is for using like screen sharing, like your Mac talking to your iPhone as a screen kind of thing. And AirPlay. I don't know what in here is an AirPlay target, honestly, but something in here could be a screen for a device, or a speaker for a device. Even HomeKit, some Apple gizmos showing up as a HomeKit thing in here. So obviously this isn't going to answer every question I have. Let me make this a little wider still, so they're all in one line. But it is kind of interesting, and we can also get, this is all stuff that's just in the advertisement, so all we're doing in CircuitPython here is reading a bunch of packets and forming them into some human readable stuff like signal strength. So you see the RSSI numbers there. We have a services, and this is, I think the only one showing up is Bose advertises having a Bose service. Let's see, is the running device showing up on here? Turn this back on. It's probably running out of battery, but my camera, ZV-E10, is showing up there, generic access service. Okay, rhythm, yeah, that shows up as services heart rate. Device info, I just highlighted it there. Skosh, it just has its own name as part of the service. Probably if there are devices by the same manufacturer, they might use that so that they can pair up together. I think there's like bicycle computers that you can have that will read the heart rate right onto those. So I don't have any thermometers or BLE bulbs or scales, that kind of stuff set up right now. I'll dig around and see what I can find. But this is just kind of interesting. And if you look at my downshooter here for a moment, let's put little me in the corner. So this is what it shows up on the clue as. We obviously have a lot more limited screen real estate to work with, and we've just got these two buttons here. So I have it sorting by public and then random, so I can see my camera there. Oh, I know what that is. That's a light. That's a NAND light. That's the key light that's over the. I forgot that thing has Bluetooth. Everything has Bluetooth. So yeah, if I pick one, how about that? I can then. Oh, what did I do? What did I break? Something broke. I was just editing this code right before. Let me reset this right before the show, which I shouldn't have done. Let's see if any of those work. But basically, I've got this scrolling through my list with the A button, and it wraps around when it gets to the top. Yeah, I broke something. B button goes into the detail view, which is similar to what we're seeing sort of spread out across there. But I've broken something. Sorry about that. But that is where I've got it right now. And one of the ideas with this is, you'll notice, actually it's good that it's not running, so we can stop sort of scrolling with it. One of the fields you'll see here is this scene number. So every time we're scanning, we're going to see one of these devices, and I believe it can be multiple times during a scan. This camera, ZV, the one I'm looking at right here, this ZV-E10 from Sony, it spews out messages because it's been seen 2,500 times in the few minutes that we've been doing this, which is weird and the highest number I've seen on these so far. 200 times, this makes sense for stuff that does not change its code, so this one's a public one. Whatever this is just got turned on. But then the random ones, you can kind of break those into, especially if this has been running for a while, you can break that into ones that are rolling and changing on a timer versus ones that only are updated when they turn off and on or reset. So I believe there were some security researchers who were using that as one possible way of differentiating devices. I think there was some security implications with the tile gizmos, similar to these AirTags. The tile trackers had some security vulnerabilities that were not disclosed, and part of it had to do with the characterizing a whole bunch of the advertisement data, but noticing that it was or wasn't changing that scene number, so you could tell if it had updated itself, but everything else was the same. You can kind of decide, oh, even though that MAC address changed, I think it's still that one because it's on a regular interval that it's updating. So, so there's some interesting stuff out there to look at, and also Phil had found some stuff about detecting things like meta glasses, what advertisements those are showing. You could turn this into a real simple, like, is there meta glasses nearby? If that has enough unique stuff. Right now I'm just showing everything, but I could turn this into a, hey, only let me know when I'm near Sony cameras, or whatever it is. And this should be able to deal with that. So that's what I'm working on with that. And it's this is all Claude AI. I'm not using Claude Code on it. I'm just in like Sonnet on Claude AI. The code for it, let me make my window smaller here for a second. Where is that? There it is. I'm just going to shrink this down, pardon me for a moment while I make this less wide. That'll work. And let me open up the code that's on the clue here. As you can imagine, a lot of it is just comparing things to tables and formatting stuff for the screen. Should be that. Doesn't want to open. Hey, weird. I've broken Zed. What happened, Zed? What's your problem here, man? I'm going to relaunch Zed. Sorry about that. Okay, there's a relaunched Zed. Maybe this will open it. Yeah, it's much happier. I don't know what happened. So you can see the libraries here. I'm not going to go through all this code. I haven't myself yet. But key things here is the Adafruit BLE and BLE advertising. You grab those, and then you can sniff for and import or parse that packet that comes, that data that comes whenever one of these devices advertises itself. Here's the little BLE radio setup. And then here you can see we've got just some known manufacturer IDs. So I think I'm a little far from it, but I have these Pura scent diffusers. You get little scents to put in there, so it smells like a tropical island in your kitchen or something like that. those are all, I wish we were getting one right now. I showed them last night. I don't know why I don't see them now, but those are all ESP32s inside of some kind. So they, there is an ID for the chip that some of them fill in. So this shows up as Pura as a manufacturer, but it also has a Espressif thing. Also the appearance values. So this is some of those different possible uses for these devices. And I was using a term last night that we were tossing around, and I forget it now, but it's not the provisioning, characteristics. So characteristics are a part of what this is, and then there's the, I forget the term in BLE. We have a good guide for it. I'll show you in a second. But things like, is this a barbecue thermometer versus a heart rate monitor versus a pulse oximeter, etc. So those all come in this sort of standard little packet here that can be parsed and then show up in your display. Manufacturer data types, so you can see these are a bunch of these Apple ones. And there are a number, these are these chip tables. What are they? These OUI tables. So this is where there are a few of these IoT devices that show up as these different Espressif addresses. So this is all publicly available stuff. And on and on and on. So I'll be putting that together and updating this. I'll probably give you another update in the next couple shows, and putting together some code that you can download and a learn guide for that. So a little bit of BLE fun headed our way. Okay, let's see. Any other questions over in the Discords? No, I think we're good. All right. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by. A little reminder, you can save some money over in the shop if you want. If you're into that sort of thing, go buy some stuff at Adafruit with the coupon code for today. It is no more wall, no-more-wall. And I did say I'll talk about this some. I am starting to put together a bit of a PVM, BVM, CRT wall there. I do have that gizmo, the gray gizmo, on top of the little set of triplet monitors. There is a Extron crosspoint matrix that'll allow me to do, I think the buttons lie, I think I have 8 in and 8 out, not 12 in and 8 out, but there's rows of buttons there that allow me to do different combinations of inputs over BNC connectors of analog video out to different analog video outputs and in combinations. So thinking of setting that up for some retro gaming fun and maybe some future projects, which is why no more wall is our coupon code, because well, it's a different wall. Maybe that's what I should say, but no more LCD wall seemed unwieldy for a coupon code. Anyway, no-more-wall. That's going to save you 10% over in the shop, so go buy some cool stuff. And tell us what you're doing with it. Don't forget, we have show and tell on Wednesdays. Go back, if you missed last night, go back and check out the project that Salim showed off of a film scanner. He built a 8mm film scanner. Take 3.5-minute home movie reels or bigger spliced reels, and is digitizing them. Fully homemade. Unbelievable. Really cool project. Very impressive results. And cheaper than sending it out to a service, from what he was saying, because it looks inexpensive at first and then it adds up. Anyway, that was a community member bringing on a project, and we would love to see your projects. They can be big or small. They can be, here's a cool thing I just got and it's a tool and I want to show you. Here's a workshop. Here's my workshop. Here's a tour. You want that? Yes, I want to see that. We want to see your workbench. So bring on your projects. We love to see what people are doing. Those are on Wednesdays at what time? 7:30 Eastern time. We always put up a blog post about it a couple times that day. And then if you head to our Discord and live broadcast chat channel, there will be a link to StreamYard. All you have to do is have your your browser give permission to use your camera and mic, and you can come and share with us. So please come by for that. I'll be back on Tuesday with a product pick of the week. I believe Scott is doing a deep dive tomorrow, save for extraordinary circumstances and sudden illnesses of family members. He said he should be on. I believe Fomiga is doing a deep dive on Tuesday. The 3D Hangouts is Wednesday morning. Like I said, Show and Tell is Wednesday evening. And always keep your eyes peeled for various eyes on NPIs and desks of Lady Ada and other things from Phil and Lamore. That is it from us. Thank you all so much for coming by. I appreciate you hanging out with me during the show. This has been me, John Park, for Adafruit Industries. This has been John Park's Workshop. Ciao.